Good afternoon all. This is Ivan from connectvk.com.au presenting to you NanoVNA-f 4.3 inch network analyzer. The contents of the box, as you can see on the screen there, is the unit comes in a very nicely presented cardboard box, which is just the outer box in this instance. User manual in English, very detailed, as well as the quick start guide or menu map, which you would need to help you navigate through different and various menu options. Within the cardboard box there is a plastic container actually that holds the instrument itself, and it's very nice because opposed to the H4 model that I've reviewed previously, this one would be handy for the field trips or the outer inner field testing, I would say. The insert is a very nice foam rather than just clicky plastic, which we have seen in the H4 model, and the contents is just stock standard, exactly the same as every other NanoVNA that I have seen so far. So you've got the calibration kit there on the left, short, open and load, couple of SMA male cables, very short ones, and I think SMA to SMA, female to female, and right angle one as well. That sticker on the side there, which is not very well zoomed in, says that this unit is a hardware version 3.1. And what's important about this is that obviously you want the latest and greatest, and that is a firmware version of 2.0 Beta and the hardware version of 3.1. I have reviewed and followed the developers' instructions in terms of how to spot the counterfeits that come out of China. So I've got a separate video on that anyway, pointing out the differences in logo. You need to have that little circle within the A when it says NanoVNA, so that A is not a dash in the middle, it's actually a little circle. So anyway, the unit itself is very nice. The 4.3 inch screen makes a whole of a lot of difference, I would say. It's very responsive, and the upgrade to 2.0 Beta firmware will allow you to sweep frequencies up to 1.5 gigahertz. Same as all the other models as well, of course. If the screen looks a little bit too busy for you, you can turn all the other traces off and just monitor whatever you want to monitor, in this instance SWR. Just remember the latest firmware, 1.5 gig. So yeah, that's it. On the side you got 3 buttons, so it's not a thumb wheel anymore, it's 3 buttons, up, down and a middle select. You got a USB-C port for charging and PC communication, as well as the other normal USB port, which is I believe used for the connection to the Android phone. In order to put the device in a disk mode, and I'll explain in a second why would you want to do that, you need to hold that middle button while powering on the device. So why would you want to put it in a disk mode? Well, for several reasons. Number one would be to upgrade your firmware, and number two would be to edit that little text file that's within the root folder, which will present your name or your call sign at a boot. Like you can see here, I've got connectvk.com.au programmed into mine. The unit itself is considerably heavier than the H4, but what I like about it is that metal chassis and the actual fact that the SMA connectors on the left hand side, they were not just holding onto the PCB board, actually screwed on to the chassis, which makes it a bit more durable. In terms of the PC connectivity, to put the device into a disk mode, which is what you need to do in order to program or upgrade the firmware, you need to hold that middle button while powering on the device. That will put this unit into disk mode, and your PC will see your NanoVNA as every other normal external hard drive or storage device. Just remember to hold that middle button in order to get into the programming mode. Once plugged in, you will pop up as a USB disk, and it will automatically open up the root folder of the device. There is a TXT file with instructions on how to upgrade the firmware, which you can download from the developer's website, and I will leave the link in the description of this video. The process is very hard. Not. The process is not hard at all. The process is probably the easiest that I have seen during the NanoVNA evolution. So all you have to do is copy and paste 2 files into the root folder and restart the device. That's it. And that is really it in terms of the firmware upgrade. It's a very simple process, as explained earlier, and one important thing to mention with the F model that I've noticed that H4 didn't have is that you couldn't have gone out in a field, scanned your antenna, and then bring your device inside and hook it up to a PC and download your data, because H4 didn't have any storage capacity. F model, especially the version, will actually allow you to store your readings. For example, if you're outside taking a sweep of the antenna, you can memorize them into your NanoVNA, and then once you come inside you can recall them and see the results on your PC screen, which is pretty cool. In terms of the software, there is 2 different versions, and I'm pretty sure the stock standard, even for the previous H4 and H models, NanoVNA Sharp and NanoVNA Saver. I'm using NanoVNA Saver, and it's a pretty easy software to use. Does not require installation. Just download the exe file and run it from desktop. No problems at all. The device also supports TDR function. I've got a piece of coax 1 meter RG58 coax connected to the device there. Once I've selected the velocity factor of 0.66, it actually displayed 1.04 meters in length. So there you go. It's either very little discrepancy or my cable is not exactly 1 meter. In a nutshell, to sum it up, I like the metal enclosure. I like the fact that the SMA connectors are screwed onto the chassis rather than just a PCB board. I like the little plastic carry-on box, which is very handy. I like the fact that they have increased the sweep range from the previous firmware was only up to 1 gig, and this one will do up to 1.5. So altogether a lot of good improvements, and that 4.3 inch screen makes a big difference. The unit itself is very easy to operate. There have been some complaints about the screen sensitivity. I'm a member of the developers group on Yahoo groups for NanoVNA-f, and I've noticed that the version 2 firmware has somehow improved that accuracy of the touch screen. However, it does suggest to use a very sharp pointed stylus. Unlike me, I've used a very wide pen in this presentation, so that's not helping. And that really sums up my review of NanoVNA-f model. Like always, I would like to thank you for your attention and wish you all the very best until the next time. If you do have any comments or suggestions, please do let us know. Comment below or send us an email. Check our website at connectvk.com.au, and we would like to hear from you. So there you go. Thank you once again.